It absorbs the sun rays. And according to Texas A&M study, which Dennis is going to explain to you exactly what a solar loader is, it brings free heat in your home. Doesn't block the heat like window film. It brings the free heat in your home. In fact, the Inflector window insulators addresses all of the seasonal changes throughout the year, keeping the heat in the building during the winter while keeping the heat from entering the building during the summer. How the Inflector window barrier window insulator works. That is a radiant heat barrier, a see-through radiant heat barrier. Number one, it blocks the radiant heat. Number two, it reflects the solar heat. In summer, the Inflector radiant barrier insulators are positioned so the reflective surfaces faces out, and this rejects 72% of the radiant heat, reflects the solar gain heat back out through the window, stops 92% of the damaging UV rays, controls glare, provides daytime privacy, provides cool daylighting, with a view reduces the load on your AC, therefore extending it. And the most important part is it's saving you money. That's what I like the best about this product. Not only does it make you comfortable, but it saves you money. And you're saving the earth by it. Now, heat reflected from a window type after Inflector window installation. Single pane window, percentage of heat coming through the window on a single pane window was 85%. By installing Inflector, you decrease it 17%. Incoming heat reduction is 80%. Incoming heat reduction is reduced 80%. A double pane clear window, percentage of heat coming through the window is 70%. Decreased by installing Inflector to 15%, or a heat reduction of 78.8%. That is amazing. Double pane low E window, percentage of heat coming through the window is 54%. Decreased by installing Inflector 13%, down to 13%. Incoming heat reduction of 75.9%. Now that is what I call a comfort zone, keeping that heat out. That is a true comfort zone. So, Inflector winter benefits and values. In winter, the Inflector window insulators are reversed so that the silver side is facing inward. In this mode, the insulators reflect the thermal heat back in the building, reducing heat loss. Therefore, it is magnifying that heat significantly. It is a passive solar collector. This is a solar collector, solar rejector. During the summer, it rejects the heat. During the winter time, it collects the heat. It's a solar loader. It brings that heat. And according to Texas A&M, by magnifying that heat on a 4x4 window, direct sunlight can produce 2,096 BTUs of heat per hour, which is equivalent to a 600-watt electrical heater, according to the University of Texas A&M. The damaging UV rays are reflected back outside, and the reflector air barrier reduces heat, air loss, exfiltration. Again, this reduces the load, wear, and maintenance of HVAC, extending the life of your AC, reducing heating requirements, reducing your costs, saving you money. If cold is the issue, not only does Inflector reflect the heat back into the building or magnify the heat, but it has a solar loading absorption and one-way heat transfer. So, heat absorption of plain glass, 6%. Heat absorption of the Black 7 Inflector increases 51%. Increase in heat absorption percentage-wise, 750% in relation to plain glass to Inflector. I know that to increase my comfort in my home, I would want that 750% coming in my home, not just a 6% as a plain glass window does. In fact, Inflector window insulators addresses all the seasonal changes throughout the year, keeping the heat in the building during the winter, while keeping the heat from entering the building during the summer. I would like to thank you so much for your time. And again, let's save the earth and let's save money. Let's do both of them at the same time. That's what Inflector window insulators is, saving the earth and saving you money.
Thank you very much for that great information, Keith. That's what we love about the Inflector, is it's a scientific product. Everything is there for a purpose, and it addresses all the inefficiencies of windows. What you're looking at right here is a picture of 3 windows. This is from the Texas Conservation Commission in downtown Austin. In fact, the picture in the middle, that in the background, is Darrell Royal Stadium where the University of Texas Longhorns play. The window on the left has no insulator. You can see the glare, you can see the light on the windowsill and coming in, streaming in. That is indicative of solar heat gain. The window in the middle is an Inflector insulating panel, and on the right is an Inflector insulating roller shade. So you can immediately see that what we mean by cool daylighting. You're getting the view, but without the solar gain. So that's a quick demonstration of how the products looked installed. I'm going to take a quick look and see if we've got any see any questions we might need to take a look at. Okay, looks like we're all right there. So now let's get into the science about some of the things that Keith brought out. And real quickly, we're going to go through an EDTM glass test kit. EDTM makes glass test equipment for the National Fenestration Rating Council, which is the primary body in the world for rating glass products and how they work. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an EDTM heat lamp, and we're going to use an EDTM solar transmission BTU power meter to find out how much heat is coming through glass. What we're going to do is we're going to take the three primary types of glass, your single pane, your double pane, and your low E. First, we're going to put the heat lamp on. We're going to calibrate the heat meter, solar transmission BTU meter, where it's reflective of 100% of the heat from the sun hitting the meter. Then we're going to put the different types of glass in between there. What we see is that the single pane piece of glass still allows 85% of the heat to pass both ways through the glass. Heat goes to cold, so the heat is coming in the summer, it's going out through the winter. So 85% of that heat can pass through a single pane piece of window. We find that with a double pane, it's 70% of the heat can pass through, and with a low E window, 61. Imagine, people are really amazed to find out that with your low E glass, double pane, you're still having 61% of the heat passing through in either direction. It's not very good insulation. Now we put the Inflector there. Now Inflector works with glass, but all by itself, Inflector reduces that number by 80%. Only 20% of the heat is passing through. But again, Inflector works with glass, so we're going to see how Inflector works with the three glass types. With a single pane piece of glass plus Inflector, you're dropping down from 85% of the heat passing through to only 17% passing through. Now, the better the window, the lower the amount of heat that passes through. So with your double pane piece of glass, now it's going from 70% passing through to only 15% passing through. With your double pane low E, it's going from 61% of the heat passing to only 13% passing. So the percentages are going down, the actual net heat is being reduced because you have better windows. So what you clearly see is that with any windows, you're substantially improving the performance by adding your Inflector window insulators. Let's look at that graphically real quick. The blue is the amount of heat blocked to the far left through a single pane piece of glass. The red represents the amount of heat blocked with the Inflector on the single pane. The blue heat blocked by double pane, and the blue to the far right through a low E. What you can quickly see is Inflector on a single pane glass is many times more efficient than a low E window, a brand new low E window. So just by putting the Inflector on existing window, you already get substantial better performance than a brand new low E window. UV, it was very, very parallel. Blue right there on the left is the UV block by a single pane piece of glass. The red is the single pane plus the Inflector. And again, what you can see is Inflector on a single pane piece of glass is much more efficient than a brand new low E window. This is a little video showing a freezer door. What we've done is we've taken the freezer door out. We've got a piece of glass there, and we've got an Inflector. So what you're seeing right there, and this unfortunately is in Celsius, you've got -7 degrees Celsius. Now we're going to slowly inject the Inflector between that. Boom, now we're already positive. We're now at over 16 degrees. From a -7 degrees to over 16 degrees simply by adding the Inflector. So you're putting a barrier between that cold window and the inside. Again, -7 degrees to immediately above 16 degrees with the Inflector. This is a heat test. Okay. Now you're seeing again a temperature sensor. We're aiming it at the fire. What we can see is over 206 degrees. Now we're in Fahrenheit, 260 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we'll put the Inflector in. Boom. How about 150 degrees difference? Heat. Inflector between the heat and the interior. Massive difference. What you see right here is a letter from the National Defense Medical Center. There's a third-party test done by the National Defense Center up in Canada. As you see, it's a large building. What they did is they decided that they knew they had a major infiltration problem. They wanted to do two things. They wanted to see if Inflector could improve their infiltration problem, and they also wanted to see what the result was on the people that worked in those offices. They did their own test through Canada consultants. What they found out is that the results were very positive, and remarkable improvements were noted in the air leakage behavior of the windows after installation of the Inflector. Actually, the results, which we'll show you shortly, were over 70% reduction in infiltration. Then a survey was conducted at the National Defense Medical Center of the staff in the offices with the Inflector, and the comments were very positive, and the insulators were highly recommended. So again, this was a third-party test on infiltration. The Inflector radiant barriers are the world's most complete window insulator. They deal with all the goals of sound enveloping, plus they have the benefit of providing free heat and significantly reducing utility consumption, thereby improving air quality. Okay, let's go over in depth the test. The first one was the air leakage test, which was the National Defense Center. Substantial reduction, according to the test, of air leakage through the windows, reduced from 64.8% to 71%. Their comment: Inflector panels provided a good air seal. And again, the people who worked in those offices were very impressed. So the impact is obvious, immediately improvement in the performance of the infiltration and exfiltration for a window. Yellow Solar Laboratory did the study of the solar loading, and what they found is a 4-foot square window in direct sunlight, pulling in the sun, can have a heat gain of 2,096 BTUs per hour, which is equivalent to a 600-watt electric heater. Now this actually is a double positive effect. So instead of losing heat through your window, now you're gaining heat through your window in winter. So that's very, very important, because now your window can actually provide free heat. Texas A&M did a study on the thermal properties of windows, and they said that the U value of the window was improved by 54% in the winter condition and 50% in the summer condition. This is even without the solar loading. That's just thermal properties, reduction in heat gain, heat loss. So Inflector will improve the insulation value of any window. Northwest Laboratory and Northwest University in South Africa did a study. Again, it was a third-party test. They took 3 offices. They were trying to study the energy demand reduction. One office had no window insulators. The next office had Inflector insulating panels. The third office had the Inflector insulating roller shades. The insulated office had an average of 30% less energy use than the uninsulated offices. Again, a true third-party test. So what you can actually have is lower energy costs for the same comfort levels. What a wonderful thing to have. The first test you saw was the EDTM glass test kit. What it showed is that Inflector improved the solar performance of any type of window glass significantly. Ortec Laboratories did a test on thermal transmittance properties, and what they found is that the Inflector for solar heat gain coefficients in summer reduced the solar heat gain coefficient by 49%, and at the same time, under nighttime winter thermal conditions, had the effect of reducing the thermal heat loss, thermal transmittance coefficient, by 37%. Dramatic improvements on the performance in summer, dramatic performance improvements in the winter.